Hey Darcy, we are looking at worksheet 76, introducing line plots. But before that, or it doesn't have to be before that, I guess, but let me just know that one thing that you're going to do is section 3, warm up practice. That says practice. Got a little messed up there. Warm up practice 3. Okay. So you can do section 3, warm up practice 3. I think those are all addition problems, and you may use your abacus if needed, but try not to. Okay. All right. You can pause and do those now if you like, or you can just wait till later to do them. Before we get into our actual worksheet ideas, let's think about a few things. Can you measure more centimeters or more inches on your ruler? So think about your ruler. Does it have more inches or more centimeters? Yeah, it has more centimeters, doesn't it? I hope that you find time to practice your counting. You might just think of a number, like you might, in your head, you might just think 75, and just count by tens up to some number and stop. But, that's the sort of thing that you can do, practicing your counting. If you're riding in the car with mom and dad, right, you see a number on a sign or on a license plate, maybe you see an 8, right? And you might say, I'm going to start at 8 and I'm going to count by 5s, right? That one could be pretty challenging, but you get the idea, right? You might say, 8, and I'm going to count by 10s, right? 8, 18, 28, or another way to think about it is 8, 1, 10, 8, 2, 10, 8, 3, 10, 8, 4, 10, 8, 5, 10, 8, right? And so look for opportunities to just practice counting, and it's going to help you a lot in all of your math. Okay, so what is 1/2 plus 1/2? And I know that you said 1/2 plus 1/2 is 1. Very good. Well, what is 19 and 1/2 plus 2 and 1/2? Right, think about that. 19 and 1/2 plus 2 and 1/2. Do you know what that is? Well, let's think about it. 19 and 1/2 plus 2 and 1/2. We just said that 1/2 plus 1/2 is 1. So when I say 19 and 1/2 plus 2 and 1/2, there's a 1/2 and a 1/2, and that makes 1. So now I know it's 19 plus 2 plus 1. Right? 19 plus 2 is 21, plus 1 is 22. What if we have 2 square centimeters plus 4 square centimeters? What would that be? Yeah, we can just add the numbers 2 and 4 and get 6, but then we keep the units, right? So if we have 2 square centimeters and 4 square centimeters, we have 6 square centimeters. Now, if I'd read that problem and said, what is 2 square centimeters plus 4 square inches, we can't add them. We have to have the same units in order to add things. Okay. So what is 2 square centimeters plus 2 square centimeters? Yeah, that'd be 4 square centimeters. What is 3 square centimeters minus 1.5 square centimeters? 3 square centimeters minus 1.5 square centimeters. Well, if we started with 3 square centimeters and we took away 1 square centimeter, we would have 2 square centimeters, right? So 3 square centimeters minus 1 square centimeter is 2, but we need to take away 1/2 square centimeter, right? Because it's minus 1 and 1/2 square centimeter. So 3 square centimeters minus 1 square centimeter is 2. right? 2 square centimeters minus a half square centimeters. If we take 1/2 from 2, we get half the way closer to 1. We have 1.5 square centimeters. Okay, you might want to think about that. I want to think about that one a little bit. 3 square centimeters minus 1.5 square centimeters. Okay, again, we can take away the 1 square centimeter. We've got 2 square centimeters left, right? 2 square centimeters is made up of 1 and 1 square centimeter, right? We need to take half of one of those square centimeters away, so we have 1.5 square centimeter left. Okay, now you are supposed to have your tiles, your colored tiles, and let's suppose we grab a handful and we just drop them on the table. Maybe it looks something like that. There's some colored tiles on my table. Okay, and ultimately what we want to do is make what's called a line plot. And we're going to make a line plot to show how many of each color we have. Well, before we make the line plot, maybe we want to make a chart first. All right, so to make the chart, you might do something like this. I see that there's blue tiles, there's some red tiles, and there's some green tiles, and there's a few red, yellow tiles. All right. Okay, so we might have lines for each of those. And so now we've got the color, and we've got a space to mark down how many there are. And so one of the ways I could do this is I could just put a mark here each time I see a blue tile. So when I look at the blues, there's 1, 2, 3. I've got 3 blues. 1, 2, 3. Right. How many reds? I see 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 reds. Okay. What about the greens? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now when I'm marking things like this, when I get to 5, I can draw a line through those 4. And there's 5, 6, 7. Looks like I have 7 greens, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. And then how many yellows? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there's a chart, and it shows me just by looking at what we call the tally marks. I can know how many of each color tile I have. Right now, yours might be different than mine, obviously, if you did your own tiles on the table. But that's the idea. I can drop my tiles on the table. I can put one tally mark for each tile of a particular color, and I can know how many I have of each color. Okay, so now we're ready. Now that we have our chart, we can produce our line plot. Okay, so with our line plot, and actually we could probably produce the line plot without the chart, but my line plot is going to look like this. I'll draw myself a line, and then I'm going to put a mark through, and I'm going to label it whatever I need to label it. In this case, the colors. Right? So a little ways over, we'll put red. A little ways over, we'll put green. And lastly, we'll put yellow. Okay, so now I've got all the colors labeled. Okay, and now what I want to do is I'm going to put an X for each tile of that color, right? So for each blue tile, I'll put an X. And as best as I can, I want all my X's to be the same size and the same distance apart. So there's my 3 blue X's, right? 1, 2, 3. Right? I can look at my chart up here. Red, there's 4. Now I'm going to try to line these up nicely with the check marks I did with the blue. 2, 3, 4. That's pretty good. But see, by keeping them the same size and lining them up nicely, I can see easily by how tall my stack of X's are which one has more tiles, which color has more tiles, right? So with the green, look here, there's 7 greens, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And so again, by being careful about, and I mean, you'll do better on paper than I'm doing here, but do my best to be careful, I can see very quickly that there's more greens than either red or blue. Just by, I don't have to count, I can just tell by how tall the stacks are. And then lastly, the yellow. And of course, if you did your own tiles, right, your stacks could be different, okay? But that's how we do a line plot then. We have a stack of X's above each thing that we're counting. In this case, the different colored tiles. Okay, and that's what Worksheet 76 is about. It's about building a line plot like this right here. This is a line plot. Okay. All right, so that's what you are to do for Worksheet 76.